What's up, everyone? Today, before we get started, and I have something insane to share with you today. It feels like I'm always saying that, but for sure, this is insane. And I want to talk a little bit about power. It's kind of a weird topic, but it feels weird to me at this point to have been able to develop a tool that on my own and with the help of AI that can absolutely go toe to toe or threaten any of the collectible space analytics tools out there. And not only just threaten, but from a conceptual standpoint, bypass it by far. The only limitation that I have is just the scope of data. But the implementation, the concepts, the just the implementation of things, side of things, I think we are approaching now a level that can't be ignored, and it has so much tremendous value that I think this might be the state of the art or the standard of how this kind of thing is done in the future. I know I'm giving myself a lot of credit for that, or a lot of credit, maybe undeserved credit, because again, the concept is mine, and everything in the past month or so has been tremendously moved along and helped by AI. So AI obviously needs credit for that too. I mean, that's one thing too. I don't even know how do you take ownership of something, even if the concept is yours, if the implementation of it is helped 80 to 90% by AI. At this point, that's why and how I'm able to quickly develop. And I just, wanted to call that out. And if you think that one person is coding all this by hand, you're out of your mind. But if I have the power, I have the tools available, am I just not going to do it if it's something better than what's being provided and there's nothing else that's out there that is as good and as or nothing out there that has the features that I'm looking for or that I think people would want? Of course, I'm going to do that. I mean, we can have a moral dilemma type of discussion about it. I totally understand the negatives and the pushback on something like that, but this is what I want to show you, okay? Um, Today on Collectrics, I've added a new feature we're just calling the watch list. And within the watch list too, and across the site, there's another new component. We're taking all of our market signal data, all of our price data, and we're just simply applying some rules to create some labels that let you know how the card is performing, what are the most recent significant changes in just simple basic language form. So you're not reading numbers and then trying to interpret what it means. We're just trying to tell you exactly what it means so you can quickly analyze things. And it honestly has ended up being probably the most powerful feature that I've added to the site. So we've had the data there for a while, but just being able to bake in the rules to say this card's going up in price, but the demand is soft. The price is falling, but the demand is increasing. That's an opportunity. The price is going up, but there's no correlating market factors. So just keep an eye and monitor it, right? We can now just bake in those rules, and I'll show you exactly what that looks like. So that in combination with now the watch list, and this is where AI has helped me take this to the next level very quickly. So getting user features onto the site, like you log into your account, you have customizable user features all on your own. And the biggest component to really personalize this now, yeah, dark mode is cool, right? If you buy dark mode and you have it, that's a customization. But this is really now you're taking ownership of the platform. And I'm so excited to finally be able to bring this to you. And again, this was done in a weekend. Like, it's insane. It's insane. So let me just walk through. So when you log into your account now, you'll have at the top, you'll see this new, it says watch list new. You click on that. If you're not logged in, it'll just be blank. I need to make that landing page a little cleaner, but it'll just be all blank. It'll say sign in. But once you sign in, again, this is not paid. This is free. This is absolutely free to everyone. Right now, I am monitoring how this is going to go depending on how many people start adding cards, but I'm just doing 100 cards for your watch list for now. That could easily be expanded later on. We'll see how it goes. If everyone jumps in and all the cards in my database explodes, like we'll have to see how it goes. I mean, I did the math on it. It should be completely fine up to 1,000 per user, but we're just testing the waters at 100, completely free. Now you can go in. I'll just show you how it works. You go to a set and you want to add a card, just like what you would expect. You go to a card, you click the plus button. Like let's add this Team Rocket's Mewtwo. It adds to your watch list. You go to your watch list, you see your most recent addition right there. And you can kind of already tell what the point of this is. It tells you about the cards that you have, the total raw value, the changes that we're seeing. And then you can see a performance based on the cards in your watch list. One of the big features at some of these other platforms that annoyed me immediately is it only shows you the trend from when you've added the card. It doesn't show you, say you want to create a portfolio or some other type of mix of cards in any other platform, and you want to be able to just, well, now that I've added this, but I want to see how that historical performance has looked over time. It always like pings it to the date that you added it, which has its use, right? But you want to be able to switch back and forth. So that's one of the things that we added here. You can do since added, and this is brand new, so I've only had a couple days worth of data here since added. Or you can go historically. I just want to know now collectively across everything in my watch list, how has that performed? And so I'm going to add a bunch more things here, but also I just for now I only have special illustration rares in this watch list right now, but you'll be able to filter for the rarity tier as well. So yeah, let me just show that real quick, just so you know I'm not making that up. Oh, and you already see that I have Evolving Skies. I have Evolving Skies. I have Sword and Shield cards on my site. It's not opened to the public yet. It's not unlocked yet, but that is a feature that I'm working on. But let's just find, just to make you jealous, let's put Giratina on the list, even though it's not available yet to everyone. You see, I'm still building history. So once I build all the history that we need, we'll unlock Sword and Shield. But let's go back to the watch list. So now you can see I have two different rarities instead of just special illustration rare that does respond to the cards that you have in your list. So I'm going to remove that. And you see automatically immediately updates. All right, so that's adding cards to the watch list. That's a historical performance. We are looking at the price and as well as the estimated volume movement in the market. And yes, we are using primarily eBay for that estimate. All right, so now here's what I want to get into. Nice, clean way to look at your watch list here. You have date added by default, but you can go price, high to low. And let's just stick with that for now. You can switch this back to the regular card view, or we can go to the row view. And I've come to really like the row view, and we may end up using this across the site in more places. So one of the things as I was going through this and I was trying to add this simple, I'm just calling this the market divergence label. So this is what's unique about what's happening in the market and the trends today for this card that is different than what has been typical, right? So what is changing really? The market divergence, what is changing, right? So right now for this card, Umbreon, demand is tightening. So we have a 7-day demand pressure at plus 33%. So there's a few different labels that will add. So if there's a combination of price changes as well as market changes or demand changes, those things will all kind of be there. So you'll see a mix of those different things here. Like for instance, we'll just go down to Pikachu. This says market cooling for this. So this is a mix of signals. We have demand up or down 20%, active listings up 20%. So market cooling overall, not just one factor, but there's multiple factors included. So we have many rules and labels that you'll see on cards within the platform. So let's go to demand. You can see demand tightening. Let's go to Umbreon now, and we'll see exactly how this works. So you've seen so you can see here on the price right below, we have that label, your market divergence label. And we have demand tightening. So this makes it really easy to quickly see the price changes and then the market changes. So instead of seeing the price, seeing the trends, and then having to go down and try and see how these things fit together like a puzzle. And often what you'll see is a price goes up, then you'll see supply go down or sales go up. You can see these things in real time by looking at these two charts, but just having a simple, quick, easy to read label has been kind of the game-changing feature that I think is really what would make most analytics platforms jealous. Like, let's be honest. So this is like what we're trying to do. Now you can see I have the Collectrics IQ Price Lab unlocked on my admin account, of course, and you can see that this price has actually gone up. Now I'm wanting to add this expected price from the Collectrics IQ Price Lab as a line, and you'll be able to, it's getting noisy here, of course, but you'll be able to switch it on and off to see what has the historical expected price for this been in the past. And we were actually, this is what's really interesting and something I've been observing and trying to understand how to tweak the model, and whether or not this is going to be the right approach. But the model was actually saying was around $1,200, $1,300 price point. But what changed is you do see some tightening. So in the past 7 days, if you take a look at this, these are the sales that we're seeing. The lines, the bars that go below the line. So you can look at this entire chart as here's all the listings available that are available now, and then below the line are the ones that took away from the available listings. So you take away from the available listings by the listing ending or being sold. So the more that you see the line go below the line, that's more sales happening, and it's taking from the overall active listings. So that combination, what you're able to see is that we have had more recent sales. So you can see the sold has gone up 40%, right? Active listings overall in the past 7 days have only increased 1.5% compared to the entire 30-day window. But you can see there's a new listing decrease and a sold increasing. So that is leading to a tightening of the market here. That's what we're showing here, a tightening of the market. So you have the chart over here, you have the gauges over here, and then now you have just the simple, give me the facts, just the facts, ma'am, type of label to show you 7-day demand pressure is up. And that has impacted the price that we're seeing in the Collectrics IQ model. What this was before, as you bring this down, it was around a 10% demand pressure, and that's where our model had pegged this at for a potential price. Now, remember, this model is not trying to tell you that price is going to go down. If the model is saying that the price is below the market price, no one can predict the future, and no one is saying this price is going to go down. That's impossible. All we're saying is that with all the measurable signals, typically a card of this stature, with this character, with this premium score, with this scarcity score, with how often it gets graded, the collector appeal, all those things, the price would tend to be in this range. So that just helps give you context to say that there is a premium above what the typical market signals would suggest, and that's the premium you pay at the market price if the model is telling you that it's below that. So the only thing that I'm finding, however, is that the model is probably a little too aggressive when it comes to the demand pressure change. So as I just said, just last week, our demand pressure was around 10%. Therefore, the model was suggesting this could be a $1,300 card price, like the market price would be in that range. Because that we are seeing a 33% demand increase, and that is just simply the supply proportion, or the amount of that's being absorbed of the supply in the past 7 days versus the 30-day baseline has increased. So that demand pressure percentage increase. But it could be a little too aggressive, and I'm trying to do some testing now. But I just want to kind of give you that context that right now the model maybe is a little bit more responsive to demand pressure, but also not. So I need more time to validate this to see what the right adjustment is going to be, like how, when the demand pressure changes, what is the change in price impact across different tiers of cards. That's the real test that needs to occur. All we've done mostly so far with this demand pressure is find that when the demand pressure, when you adjust it, when does it typically predict the price most accurately at that given point in time? But the changes that we see and how it impacts is where the more testing needs to happen. But either way, I still think that this is extremely valuable. And just as long as you are keeping in mind that this is in no way a true price prediction, it just helps you understand and measure and the output of all the measurable signals. Okay, I'm done with that. But the key thing now is that we're able to look at all the variables that are going into this card in one place. And I know it's getting busy. That's one thing too. Like, I want to try and clean this up some more. It's definitely getting busy. So I want to try and simplify this more and maybe even make like a light and pro user mode. Not to say that we would charge for the pro user mode necessarily, but you know what I mean? Just like a basic and advanced view, essentially is what I'm trying to get. So I want like to have just give me the plain simple and then give me the detail. So we'll probably have something like that. I'm just recognizing that as an issue really as we speak. It's really busy. So yeah, we can see in a one day, this card has gone up $15, 1%. And the past week, this card has gone up $21, again, 1% consistently for the past week. In the past 7 days or past week, the demand pressure change has gone up. So almost 34%. That has led to an increase in what even the model is anticipating, where we were tracking this around like a $1,300 card. The price has gone up, as I said. So that movement is all happening there. And now you can see exactly why. The whole why of the story is right there. That's a lot to take in, but this label kind of explains it all, and it's going to be even more valuable. All right, let's keep going down. Let's keep going down the list. So these are ones that I have added to my list, and I will just kind of go through some of what I'm seeing for each one of these. One of the ones that was really at the top of the list for Collectrics IQ right now with the most recent refresh is this Eevee from Prismatic Evolutions. I have personally not bought any Prismatic Evolutions special illustration rares. I have bought lots of Prismatic Evolutions packs and got nothing, and I'm talking hundreds of Prismatic Evolutions I've opened in my lifetime with my kids. We have gotten not a single SIR. This is truly the most brutal and obnoxious set. So I kind of have a distaste for this set. But, you know, I thought it's kind of time to potentially buy into before things go even more insane for Prismatic. One card that I am truly, like, in my heart, I feel more connected to is Eevee. You know, and Eevee was pretty special to me, like playing as a kid, playing Pokemon, but on the Game Boy. But I haven't really been a big Eevee collector. I do have the Twilight Masquerade Eevee, and I have that in a 10. Very proud of that card in the collection. But this is one that I've noticed that the model is saying is underpriced right now, and you can see the demand is going up. Demand is tightening on this right now. So I anticipate this card continuing to increase. If we look at the 60 days, it's been pretty flat. And when something's been pretty flat and then suddenly you start to see a change in the demand, and primarily just around the sales, you can see our overall listings has actually continued to go up for the past 60 days, right? That's like in 30 days it's been about flat, right? In 60 days, we have seen some slight accumulation of overall. The top of these bars is how you know. We are around 70 and 60 days ago, 2 months ago. Right now, just above 80, so 89 on average the past 7 days. So in the past 7 days compared to the 30 days, that's where we're seeing some demand shift. We're seeing some sales go up. We're seeing some very slight price increases. So in my opinion, with this very little, I mean, only 89 listings, when you see something like the Mega Charizard XEX from Phantasma Flames has almost 600 listings now. This is a very small amount of available listings out there. It means that it's actually in more rare and pretty rare supply, and with demand going up, this would be for me a buy right now. So look at market signals. So the scarcity score, this is really hard to pull, and the set is aging, so that goes into the scarcity score. Character premium is still up there. It's not as high as some of the others that have really command high prices, but the collector appeal, so this is still a pretty highly graded card, but really in that mid-high. And right now our demand pressure is fairly low, but it's increasing. So if you were to increase this demand pressure and they get up there, well, the model is saying that this could be really, if there was a buyout that occurred right now, essentially getting up to that, like doubling your demand pressure, you could probably see a doubling in price for this card. So yeah, that's one. And just to show you, I actually went ahead and bought one because I found one that I thought was um, pretty reasonably priced, pretty good condition from what I could tell. And this would be just a good addition to collection. I wanted to be able to get it before it just becomes unattainable, you know. And who knows, this one might just completely flatline and, you know, it'll be fine and be attainable for some time. But even at a $200 price range, well, to be honest, any card in Prismatic Evolutions, this is why Prismatic Evolutions like that Umbreon is so high in price, is because the ability to get that Umbreon, the luck you have to acquire the Umbreon is absolutely insane. Like I just mentioned, it's supposed to be one SIR in 45 packs. I've opened hundreds, have not gotten one. So out of that one that you may potentially pull out of all the SIRs, there are 32 other SIRs competing, or 32 overall, that are competing for that slot. So the ability to pull even just one of the evolutions is still really, really hard. So that's why, you know, to be honest, it's not a bad buy to buy Prismatic Evolution cards outright. It's a terrible idea to rip packs. But I'm probably going to actually open up some of these on video. So I say that, I'm probably going to open some of those on video soon. We'll see how it goes. Let's look at, so Team Rocket. So this is one with, no, let's look at Pikachu first, as I mentioned. This is an example of market cooling. So what do we see? We see prices going down, and in conjunction with prices going down, we do see some trends, some differences happening on the market as well. So it's not surprising that these signals are correlated, right? So prices going down, and we do see market cooling. Demand is going down 20%, active listings climbing at 12%. So there's an accumulation of supply, is what that's saying. Now, the Collectrics IQ model is still estimating this is around a $500 card. And the reason is because just like with the Pikachu, I mean, think about it. Pikachu in the same set is 3 times the price of this. Well, what signals are the same of these two cards? It's from the same set. They take just the same amount of effort to pull, and they're they're Pikachu. They take the same amount of effort to pull. The only difference is the appeal of the card itself, and then in the market, in the current market state, how much people are buying of this card. So if you were to go look at the Pikachu for our Collectrics IQ Price Lab, you see the scarcity score will be the same. Character premium will be the same, but the collector appeal for the Pikachu is probably somewhere up here, right? Again, the collector appeal is quantified by the intensity in which the card is graded. So how often the card is graded, weighted by the overall impact of the overall popularity of the hobby. So there's like a lot of ways to estimate how the hobby is performing overall. And so if there's tons and tons and tons of focus on the hobby, a lot of people are into Pokemon cards, and a lot of cards are being graded, then you need to offset that or weight that in a way to understand, okay, not every point in time with the amount of cards that are graded is the same. So anyways, there's a lot of math that goes into that, but that's how we're estimating collector appeal. I have an entire video where as I launched the Collectrics IQ feature, we walk through that in very, very, very minute detail. And then lastly, the demand pressure, which is again, just the current market state. So those are the only two differences really with what makes this a $500 card and the Pikachu a $1,400 card, which by the way, the Pikachu, according to the model, and I'm just kind of giving a lot of this away right now because this is a paid feature, but you can see we're estimating this card to be around $1,000 just because the Pikachu, while it's fantastic, right? This is an awesome, cute card. It's a Pikachu. Pikachus actually don't typically perform as good as other cards unless it's the primary card or the chase card of the set. They typically don't perform, you know, as well as a Charizard, as well as a Mew when it's up against a Mew in the same rarity slot. So that's why like this one is knocked down a couple just because its collector or character premium is not like a 10 out of 10, right? Even though you would think it would be a 10 out of 10 because it's the super most popular, but in terms of what commands prices and the collector, and sorry, in the TCG, Pikachu is not necessarily always the top one. And a lot of it has to do too because Pikachu is printed over and over and over again. There's a little bit of a Pikachu overload in sometimes. So anyways, those are just one of the factors that goes into it. But you can see our scarcity score and character premium are the same as the other card. Collector appeal though through the roof for this card. So that is one reason why this one commands a higher price. The demand pressure is higher too. But overall, typical market signals would suggest this one isn't necessarily predict would be a above this price, but that's not to say it doesn't earn that price. It just, again, FOMO, people wanting this card, it being a centerpiece, it having the kind of hype around it, then that's what the intangible factors are that the model is not going to be able to understand. But either way, it kind of gives you a baseline. But what you can see here is that there's no recent market divergence. So there's been very little price movement, just barely touch 0.2% in price. And you can see here, there's no recent market divergence. So right now, the prices that we're seeing and the changes in price combined with the supply changes that we're seeing, supply and demand forces, are relatively in line. New listings have been 13%. So I would expect as more listings show up online, and if the sales stay the same, that means your demand pressure is going to go down, which means that we'll probably most likely continue to see a slight drop in the price for this card. But I can go on forever. I do like kind of going into some of our top chase cards and helping you understand like how all these different forces, when we measure them, how tightly correlated they are, how very useful they really are. Let's look at Mew real quick, because this is one where the Price IQ model was anticipating this to be around $1,000 card, and while it was only a $900 card, and now we're at almost $1,000. And now the model is saying it's around a $1,300 card. So price is still going up, demand is still going up. Yeah, I mean, you see, it's plain as day. Price is going up. We see sales. You see the sales again go below the line. Continuing sales, continuing to have high demand pressure. Anytime, here's just like a good rule of thumb. If you're looking at my site, if the demand pressure is around 10%, you are almost always going to see a steady increase in price. If the swing happens very quickly, so if then at this gauge, it goes from right in the center, and then suddenly if you see it in this area, that means you're going to have like that in the price. So it's been a steady increase, and you can see why. It's like we're slowly tightening, and we have a strong overall demand pressure. And because of that, the model has also increased its price point from around $1,000 to saying it's going to be around potentially a $1,300 card. Now, again, this is not a prediction. All it's saying is based on these factors, this is what the best guess is. Will it go up to this price? Who knows? Okay, I have to make that clear. So don't be disappointed if you go and say, buy this card, and this is not financial advice. If you're to go, oh, I'm going to buy this card, it says $1,300, and it doesn't. This is not a price prediction tool. It's just simply a estimate or an expected value tool. That's it. It's expected value, not a prediction. But yeah, so continuing to see market demand tightening at 14%. Prices are going up slightly. We still have a potential discount according to the Collectrics IQ model that could be still undervalued. It's crazy to think that this card was just like earlier this year, a $300 card. I even had a PSA 9 of this card that is sold for $350. And then I repurchased it again because I was like, it's going up and I miss it and I need to buy it. But I rebought it at a 9 again when it was like $500. So I missed out. But of course now it's up to like $900. And the reason why these prices go up, it's just, obviously, I mean, we kind of know this, right? It's just there's so many people in the hobby, whether you're a collector, whether you're an investor now, or a reseller, scalper. I said the S word. If you're a scalper, like all of that stuff is influencing the price. Should it be this price? It is the price. That is. So it's unfortunate because, you know, I love the hobby. I love ripping packs. I love completing sets. I love revisiting these characters with my children now, and us playing Pokemon games together and us ripping packs and having fun. Like, it's so special to me. And it's unfortunate that so many other people who it's not special to are capitalizing on it. But that's just kind of what it is. And I wish it was some other way. If I had a magic wand, I would be able to do something about it. But my goal here is to just help understand all of the things at play. And for me personally, this has just been a big eye-opener to have this, build this out and understand everything that goes into what makes a price, and what influences the price, and what can we do, and when can we have control or take ownership a little bit of that. And so instead of feeling like you're just completely at the whims of whatever happens, this I think is allowing us, or I hope will allow us to collectively be able to just have more power. That's the idea. And what feels like right now a very powerless type of hobby that it's been a little bit taken away from us in a way. So it's a little crazy. I know it's just like analytics overload. You have to be an analyst. And like I said, I want to try and clean this up and make this like super, super simple. But I think for now we have an insanely powerful tool now with all these things combined. Try use Watchlist. It's completely free. Again, I have 100 cards for now. We're going to go up to 1,000 probably once I can just make sure everything is a-okay from the database overload standpoint. But yeah, try Collectrics IQ if you want to try and get deep into all the different market signals and how they play a role. And that's it. Thanks again for everyone for watching. I am super excited to be able to continue doing this. I have loved everybody that's just helped support, continue to support, and given us the positive vibes. It means everything. So thanks again. We'll see you in the next video. Do all the YouTube things. And that's it. Bye. Thanks.